We had previously drafted HCR 66 even prior to the horrific attacks in Atlanta, in Georgia, that claimed the lives of 8 people, including 6 Asian Americans, who I firmly believe were targeted because of their ethnic background. And part of the reason we drafted this resolution was a sentiment from the entire community of the increased hate, violence, and sort of general distrust of the Asian American community that has resulted in a dramatic rise in not only incidents, but actual crimes against Asian Americans. Just to provide some numbers, we don't have like really great numbers in Texas, but in New York and LA, both cities reported a 150% increase in the number of hate crimes committed against Asian Americans. And these are not incidents. These are not individual incidences that do not rise to the level of crime. These are actual increases in the number of crimes committed against Asian Americans. In Texas itself, we've had some very prominent incidents. The attack in the Sam's Club in Odessa, where a man who saw a Burmese family decided to attack both the entire family, the father and a child were severely injured with a knife because he thought that they were Chinese. Just most recently in Houston alone, up in North Houston, there was a brutal attack on a Korean shop owner. Her nose was broken, and her sons attempted to run over her sons. That incident has been upgraded by the Harris County DA's office as a hate crime. And there were many more incidences, I will tell you, that are not reported. Throughout the Asian community, especially in Houston, I hear about incidences of vandalism, of confrontations in the store, confrontations in the parking lot, people being spit on. A lot of those incidences, some of them may even arise to a level of a crime, but do not get reported because of the nature of our community. Because many of the people in our community are first-generation immigrants or recent immigrants. They're afraid that they're going to cause problems simply by reporting it to the police. And this is a real issue. This is an issue that our community's been confronting for a long time. And part of why they're afraid to report, not only because they don't want to cause problems, but because they don't think anything will be done. That it will be treated as a joke, that it will be ignored, and that they'll just be laughed at. And one of the things that I think we can start with, that this body can start with, that the legislature can start with, is sending a message to the Asian American community that they have been heard. That's it. It's a really, really low bar. That we know that you're suffering, we know that you have concerns, and we hear you. That's it. This resolution changes no law. It doesn't require anyone to do anything. It is simply a statement from our body to say, Asian Americans, we hear your concerns, and this is our message saying that we hear you. And I'm sorry to be just a tiny bit long-winded, but I just really want to explain something I think it's very important because I know there's people watching as well. One of the reasons why I think Asian Americans are particularly susceptible to what's going on right now, why the community is especially vulnerable to these type of attacks. And mind you that these attacks are not coming from one group. That attacks have been committed by white people, by black people, by Hispanic people, by people all kinds. that this is not a targeted thing. And what it is a overall general societal treatment of Asian Americans, of a treatment of distrust. And this is sort of, I want to explain why. In the Asian American community, we talk about this concept of perpetual alienness that does not necessarily affect other groups. The concept that you can be here for many generations, and there's Asians who have been here since the gold rush days, since the railroad days. And there's that no matter how long you've been here, no matter how successful you are, no matter how good your English is, you're always seen as the other. You're always seen as an alien. You're always seen as having loyalties to someone else. And during this pandemic, when we use language, when we're not careful about our language, we target Asian Americans because we're seen as the other. Why are you here causing problems for us? Why did you bring this here? Why are you so strange? Why is your food so weird? And all these kind of little comments over time build up, and they put a target on our community's backs. And they say, you can go after these people because they're not really Americans. They're not really us. They're the other. They're aliens. And what I want our body to say, what I want the Texas legislature to say, is that Asian Americans are Americans, that Asian Texans are Texans, that we're all together as one people. And as a reminder to my good friends who are Republicans and my good friends who are Democrats, Asian Americans span the entire spectrum and have all universally asked for the same thing, that just a modicum of respect and to be left in peace and to live their lives and to be the best Americans they can be. So, and that's all I have.